Greetings to all of you. I want to talk about the upcoming full moon on February 24th. This time is such an accelerated time of change, of transformation. As I'm recording this video now on February 19th, Chiron has just become conjunct the North Node, exactly conjunct. And in a few days, Venus and Mars will be conjunct in Aquarius, very close to Pluto. There is so much unfolding rapidly at this time. But let me show you the chart of the full moon and let's see if we can unpack some of the layers of energy that we're all experiencing in this powerful time. So here is the chart of the full moon, and I have added in some of the Kuiper belt objects as well as the asteroids and centaurs that I usually include in the chart. I'm hoping in an upcoming video very soon to talk more about my understanding of the meaning of these Kuiper belt objects that are coming more and more powerfully into our consciousness at this time. But I want to touch on a few of them that are particularly powerful in this chart of the full moon. But before we get into that, let me just show you the full moon will be at 5 degrees of Virgo, opposite the sun at 5 degrees of Pisces. And as you can see, we have a lot of energy here in Pisces at the time of this full moon, with Mercury, the sun, Saturn, and Neptune, all of those planets in the sign of Pisces. And what I want to talk about in a few minutes is the fact that one of the Kuiper belt objects, Gonggong, is exactly conjunct the sun at 5 degrees of Pisces at this time. There is so much to talk about in this full moon, but in focusing on the energies of the full moon itself, it is really important that we're integrating these energies of Pisces with Virgo as we move into experiencing this full moon on February 24th. Pisces is very much about opening to our connection to spirit, to our intuition. It's about allowing ourselves to be in this liminal time and this time of not knowing. Pisces is about the dissolution of our ego, to remember that we're part of the oneness of all that is, and to allow ourselves to surrender to those currents of cosmic consciousness to be guiding us as we're in this profound time of shift. Then as we open to those energies, and Mercury is in Pisces, and Saturn is in Pisces, how we think about things, how we understand our reality needs to be shaped by that energy of Pisces, that intuitive, spiritual understanding of our place in the larger cosmos. Saturn in Pisces is profoundly guiding us to find our grounding in our spirituality, to realize that we are meant to open to that deeper shamanic understanding of Saturn. Remember, it is that outermost visible planet that is at that threshold between invisible reality and visible reality. From the ancient Sumer perspective, Saturn is the god of the sweet waters who knows how to move between the worlds. So Saturn in Pisces is particularly strong in guiding us to be honoring that mystical, spiritual, shamanic aspect of ourselves that can allow us to follow that guidance that is there for us in that more mystical, shamanic way. This is not a time to be using our analytical minds to make plans or to be clear about the direction that we're heading in. I'm finding more and more in my daily life that this is a time to be fluid, to be flexible, to allow yourself to be in the not knowing, to make plans, but then to be open to how the energies may be shifting the trajectory that you thought you were on, or those plans that you thought were leading you in a particular direction. We really need to honor this time of letting go, of surrender to these energies that are larger than ourselves, to trusting in the currents of the cosmos that are guiding us and informing us as to how we are meant to shape our lives and move forward in this time. So, as we open to that deeper, mystical, spiritual way of knowing and being, then the moon in Virgo can help us ground that, can help us bring that into how we live in our day-to-day lives. Virgo can support us in how we're manifesting that intuitive, mystical, shamanic way of being in how we live our lives. I think it's also very significant that at the time of this full moon, we have a grand trine in Earth with the moon at 5 degrees of Virgo, trining this combination in Capricorn, Chariklo, Ceres, Quawar, Pholus, and then trining Jupiter at 10 degrees of Taurus. What does this mean? I believe that this trine with Jupiter is supporting us in having faith in how we can ground this spiritual awareness and bring our intuition into how we live in our day-to-day lives. Jupiter is helping us have faith in the earth and the earth changes that we're experiencing. We're moving towards this powerful conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus that will occur in April. And Uranus is supporting us, as it was at the time of the new moon, in getting clarity about how we can come back into balance with natural law, how we can be clear in our relationships with the earth and the sacredness of all of life. And this is echoed in this powerful combination in Capricorn with the asteroid Ceres, which represents our Earth Mother, the nurturance of the earth for us. And it is exactly conjunct Chariklo. How are we healing in our relationship with the earth? And it's also conjunct Quawar, that creation deity of the Native Americans in Southern California. Quawar was that creation deity who sang all of life into being and guided us in how to sing that song of the cosmos and be in harmony with all that is. And then Quawar is exactly conjunct the centaur Pholus, bringing healing energy and helping us heal the ancestral issues that need to heal for us to come back into harmony, for us to be in balance, to heal and be in right relationship with the earth. So this grand trine is very central at the time of this full moon, supporting us in how we are coming back into relationship with the earth and into being in balance with the sacredness, the life all around us. And the earth herself is in a profound time of healing and transformation. So with this full moon, Pisces, Virgo, we're called to trust the earth changes, trust the changes that are happening around us, and ground that in how we are living in our day-to-day lives. The Sabian symbol of this moon at 5 degrees of Virgo is how do we find balance in the midst of emotional turbulence? The importance of finding poise and balance in emotional turbulence. The world is in profound turbulence right now. It is a very intense time on the planet, and we are seeing some of the most dark aspects of the shadow side of humanity and how we can be so cruel and inhumane in how we interact with each other and how we interact with the earth. And this full moon is guiding us to hold faith and trust, to find that way to be centered in the midst of the turbulence, to really open to that Piscean energy that can give us that sense of trust in the larger unfolding that we're experiencing in this time, to hold that compassion of Pisces, that unconditional love of the cosmos that can be in us and move through us and help us to be in peace, to hold that inner stillness, that inner centeredness in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the turmoil. As we can integrate that and ground that and hold that sense of balance and centeredness in the storminess of these times, then we can be a part of the healing on the earth, the healing with Cheroklo, holding that compassion and presence and loving energy to support the healing of the earth and support the healing of each other and of the global community. This is highlighted by Chiron being exactly conjunct the North Node. This is time to heal our sense of self and how we act and are in the world, to move into these new forms that are about healing and about coming back in to right balance as we integrate the energies of the South Node in Libra, harmony, balance, right relationship. And now the South Node is in a 6-degree conjunction with the Kuiper object Maki Maki, which is all about regeneration. This is the creation deity of Easter Island, guiding us to remember our capacity to regenerate ourselves and reconfigure our relationship with the earth, to be moving out of this state of dysfunction and imbalance into new forms that are healing and are about coming back into balance. It's also significant that we are still experiencing this conjunction of Venus and Mars that went exact on February 22nd. And at the time that they went into that exact conjunction, they were 6 degrees from a conjunction with Pluto. And all 3 of these will continue to be in Aquarius now, supporting us in how we're integrating the energies of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, how we are remembering how to come back into relationship with each other, to be in community in a way that is about our transforming our paradigms of the past to move more into the Aquarian paradigms that are about the acceptance of diversity, being in that collaboration with each other, to be co-creating new ways of being. So Pluto in Aquarius is supporting this movement into the Aquarian age that I do believe will come more fully into being as Pluto moves fully into Aquarius at the end of November 2024. But it will be in the sign of Aquarius now until September 1st, when it goes back into Capricorn for a few months, and then it will be fully in Aquarius by the end of November 2024, supporting us in continuing to be in this time of transformation, to be moving into this new age, these new paradigms, new ways of being. Remember that when we're in this transition time with the movement from one age to the next, when we're in this time of the ending of one processional cycle into a new one, it's a time of tumult. It's a time of deconstruction in order to reconfigure, reform, reset ourselves to move into this new way of being. So there's a lot of energy calling us into those Aquarian paradigms, but this full moon is guiding us to surrender the ways of the past, let them dissolve, let our egos dissolve, integrate the gifts of the age of Pisces to ground that, manifest that, bring that into our daily lives. I just recently did a conversation with Ke'oni Hanalei, who taps into the ancient Mu lineage that dates back 18,000 years for him. And he was talking so eloquently about the importance of our integrating the gifts of the age of Pisces to allow us to move into the age of Aquarius in a balanced way. And one of the themes that he talked about is the importance of our honoring reverence, reverence, being in awe, being in the mystery, in understanding our interconnectedness and our oneness with the cosmos, with cosmic consciousness, letting ourselves be in the currents of that energy with reverence, with gratitude, with honor. Then we are carried by those energies through this time of transformation, death, rebirth into these new ways of being that we can manifest here on the earth plane and in our day-to-day lives. The other Kuiper belt object that is so powerfully at work in this full moon is the Kuiper belt object Gonggong. And let me talk some about this Kuiper belt object that is now exactly conjunct the sun and opposite the moon at the time of this full moon. I want to go into this in more depth in an upcoming video, but let me just say that the Kuiper belt is this donut-shaped region of icy material that is surrounding our solar system beyond the orbit of Neptune. So sometimes these Kuiper belt objects are called trans-Neptunian objects. But these dwarf planets that have been recently discovered are the larger bodies in this Kuiper belt. And what's significant is they are coming into our awareness to bring us to a new level of consciousness. Every time a planet is discovered, it's activating something in the collective consciousness. And Alan Clay has recently published an excellent book that is outlining his views of the meanings of these significant Kuiper belt objects. And the title of the book is New Stars for a New Era. And one of his perspectives on these Kuiper belt objects is that they are higher octaves of the inner planets, taking us to a higher level of spiritual consciousness within ourselves. And I think he's really outlining some profound archetypal energies and meanings of these planets. And I'll include a link to his book below. But I also strongly believe that as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, and as these Kuiper belt objects are coming into our consciousness, they are helping activate these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, which are about our movement out of an emphasis on our individual identity to remembering and reconnecting with our identity as a global community and our identity as a galactic community. So, in a profound way, I believe that the Kuiper Belt objects, many of whom were named after creation deities, are reminding us of our origins. Remember, the Kuiper Belt is the formation of this matter and material that was left from the formation of our solar system. So it is the material, the matter out of which we were birthed. And in that it's icy material. Remember, Veda Austin's understanding of water and ice holds the memories. So this Kuiper Belt is holding the memories of our origins. So I truly believe as we connect with these dwarf planets in the Kuiper Belt, they are supporting us in remembering our origins, remembering who we truly are, and helping us step out of our over identification as separate individuals and our attachment to our egos to come back into remembrance of our interconnectedness, our being a part of the oneness of all that is. And the creation deities like Makemake, Haumea, Wawa, that are within the Kuiper Belt are helping us remember that we were created out of the energies of the cosmos, that we're called to remember that soul song, to remember the harmony of the spheres, to come back into relationship with each other, with the cosmos, to be able to open in the age of Aquarius to being galactic citizens again. So I believe that these dwarf planets are helping us with that transition and transformation. That in this profound time where we're called into an evolutionary leap in our consciousness, these Kuiper Belt objects are showing us the way. So what does it mean that Gonggong is conjunct the sun exactly opposite the moon at the time of this full moon? Who is Gonggong? So Gonggong, the dwarf planet, the Kuiper Belt object, was discovered in 2007, but it wasn't named, which I think is significant, until 2020. It's the fifth largest dwarf planet in the Kuiper Belt, with an orbit of approximately 554 years. It was named after a Chinese water god who was depicted as this large dragon or serpent with a human head, but a dragon torso and tail. Interestingly, this deity was the chief deity in a flood story and a story about cosmic chaos. The story of Gonggong is that he got caught up in his vanity, in his longing for power, and got into a fight with the fire god, vying for control and power. And in that conflict, he ended up getting so caught up in his anger that he ended up banging his head against one of the mountains that was one of the pillars supporting the heavens. This caused a tear in the sky, which led to the influx of fire and floods on the planet, creating absolute cataclysmic chaos. So in his longing for power and control, he disrupted the natural order out of his own ego, out of his own vanity and impulse for power and control, created conflict, and then caused this tear in the sky, this rupture of one of the pillars supporting the stability of the earth and sky. ending up in this cataclysmic fire and flood. What is this story about? What is really important to know, and I learned this from reading Hamlet's Mill, and I will list that resource below. It is an incredible book by two scholars who are analyzing myths and stories from around the globe. And what they see recurring over and over and over again in these different ancient cultures is the story of this cataclysmic flood and fire that destroy the planet. And many of them then have the story of how there is a time of reset, restoration, healing for the planet. And in the story of Gonggong, the goddess Nuwa mends the break. She's the creator goddess who comes and repairs the tear in the sky and reconfigures that balance between the earth and sky. But what is very significant in this myth and in this recurring story of the flood, of the fire causing chaos and disruption on the planet, is that it is the story of what happened 12,000 years ago at the time of Atlantis, where we most likely had a micronova from the sun, creating this energy of fire, causing massive floods, volcanic activity, earthquakes around the planet. Cataclysmic chaos as the earth reset and humanity started anew. Ke'oni and I talk about this some in the conversation, and I really encourage you to watch that conversation, and I'll include that link below. But I think it is highly significant that this full moon, as we're being called more and more powerfully to look at this choice point that we're in collectively at this time, that we're being called to look at what is the trajectory that we're choosing. What is the timeline, the path that we are energizing? Gonggong represents that pattern that happened at the ending of the time of Atlantis, where we got caught up in our own ego and hubris, our own arrogance and longing for power and control, that we violated the natural order, broke out of being in harmony with the earth and sky, and it did lead to this cataclysmic reset for humanity and for the planet. We are at that critical time in the precessional cycle now that comes every 12,000 years, where we're moving through the galactic sheet that is reducing the magnetic field of the Earth. We're experiencing this profound influx of cosmic energies that are activating the Earth, that are shifting our consciousness. This is a profound time when we are called into moving into higher consciousness and our capacity to move into a golden age. But we have a choice. And if we stay caught in our sense of ego, if we stay caught in this sense of separation and individuation, and caught in this scientific, materialistic view of reality, and forget our origins and don't reconnect with the deeper understanding of who we are, why we're here, how we're interconnected with the earth and sky and cosmic consciousness, then we will lose this profound opportunity to be on this trajectory into becoming homo luminous ones, into moving into higher consciousness, into co-creating a new world. I truly believe the energies of the earth and sky are working together to support us in remembering who we are, in healing, in awakening, in opening to this profound transmutation that we're capable of, that we're being called into. Gonggong is saying, remember what happened 12,000 years ago. Now, let that way of being dissolve. Pisces, open to the energies of cosmic consciousness. Pisces, open to the meaning of the sun and Mercury and Saturn in Pisces. Allow your knowing to come from that mystical remembrance and that openness to the guidance that is there for us now. Allow Saturn to support us in being grounded in those spiritual ways of knowing and being, and allowing ourselves to be informed and reshaped by the energies of the cosmos, to be in form on this planet in a radically new way, to transmute into beings of light, energy beings, with that remembrance of our connection to cosmic consciousness. This is what this time is about and what we're being guided into. The Kuiper belt objects are helping us remember and to activate this higher consciousness, to support us in coming back into that understanding in our collective consciousness, to continue to move into galactic consciousness. Now let me show you where this sun and moon are in the sky at the time of this full moon. While the sun and Mercury and Saturn in the chart are in the sign of Pisces, in the sky, the sun and Mercury and Saturn are in the stars of Aquarius. Remember, the visual astrology is showing us what are the spiritual energies of this time. The chart, how we're meant to experience that and manifest that here on the earth plane. Here you can see the water bearer holding the urn of living waters to flow to the earth. And the sun and Mercury and Saturn are all in those waters flowing to the earth. The waters. So the chart is saying we're in the waters of Pisces, the waters of source, the waters of our connection with cosmic consciousness. In the sky, the sun and Mercury and Saturn are in the living waters of the water bearer, reminding us of the living waters of the cosmos that inform us, guide us, heal us, awaken us, calling us into the age of Aquarius. And opposite in the sky, and I think this is exquisite, the full moon is now in the sky in the stars of Leo, very close to the royal star Regulus. Allow yourself at the time of this full moon to go out and honor that energy of the full moon, and allow yourself to attune to and connect with this royal star Regulus, the heart of Leo, the lion, supporting us in living from our hearts with courage, supporting us in opening to the joy that can come from being in alignment with our purpose, to be in alignment with these currents of cosmic consciousness guiding us through this time of transformation. So this is such a powerful time to allow yourself to open to these energies. And I think the key as we're in this full moon is to not try to figure it out or understand it in that analytical way of knowing. I think the key is be open, surrender, accept the energies, the currents, the flow of the cosmic energies that are coming to us, the earth changes that are guiding us. Allow yourself to dissolve that egoic desire for control and certainty, to allow yourself to be in the mystery, to open to the waters, the sacred waters of this time that are coming to us and carrying us into these new ways of being. Then we will find our way of manifesting that on the planet if we trust and open to these energies of the cosmos that are guiding us through our intuition, through our meditation times, through the dream time, through the ways in which we're being guided by synchronicities and by our own inner knowing and intuition. Trust that your spirit guides, these cosmic energies, the energy of the earth, are all supporting you, holding you in love, and supporting you in surrendering to being in the flow with these energies, to allow yourself to be in the not knowing, to be in the liminal time, but to know that you're loved and supported and being carried into new ways of being. I do believe that these energies are also guiding us to release what we need to release, Pisces, to let dissolve the ways of the past, to not strive for that control or that identification with our sense of self from the past or with our egos, but to let that dissolve, to allow ourselves to be fluid and to be in this process of transmutation. And I do believe also that the energies of this full moon are supporting us in how to clear physically, emotionally. What do we need to clear? How do we shed the ways in which we are out of balance? How do we open to the healing that's there for us? Chiron, Cheroklo. How do we then allow ourselves to not be caught in the blocks and the trauma of the past, but in opening to healing, in opening to the love of the cosmos, we can allow those out of balanced ways of being to dissolve. And then we can more fully open our hearts and souls and beings to this energy of transformation and transmutation. So may we take time at this full moon to dream, to meditate, to be still. Remember that the energy that you focus on is the energy that you emanate. I encourage you at the time of this full moon, meditate and focus on tuning into that inner stillness to allow you to be in the eye of the storminess of this time. Remember, this full moon is helping us find balance in the midst of the turbulence, to be centered in the midst of the storm, and to be in alignment with our hearts and with our soul selves that trust the unfolding that we're in as humanity, that we're in on this planet in this time. Then we don't get caught up in the cacophony, the turbulence, the storminess, and then pulled into that shadow aspect of humanity to be caught in it, mired in it. Then we hold all of that storminess and turbulence with love and compassion, and we emanate peace. We emanate love. We emanate harmony and balance. And if enough of us are singing that soul song of love and balance and harmony, the world will transform. We will support the healing of humanity and be in harmony with the earth to transmute into these new ways of being. Thank you again for this community and the profound insights that you share, the consciousness that you are holding, the support and love that we're holding with and for each other, because together We are co-creating this new world. Blessings and love to all of you.